All right, Jay. So we have a lot of bad to talk about in the NFL. We don't always enjoy this, but
sometimes has been a brutal weekend.
It was
actually, the last 3 weekends have been kind of meh.
It was a very brutal weekend for multiple NFL teams. Case in point, the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, God. Let's talk about the flop of the Arizona Cardinals, please.
Who went to Detroit and got it handed to them, got demolished and dismantled by the one win at the time Detroit Lions by a score of 30-12. Kyler Murray went 23 of 41 for 257, 1 touchdown and an interception. And the guy who played like the better quarterback in the game, Jared Goff, was 21 of 26 for 216 and 3 touchdowns. Craig Reynolds, who was in at running back for Detroit for DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. Nobody knows this guy. Had 112 yards on the ground. So they completely dismantled this team. So after this, and coming off of now what is 2 straight losses for the Arizona Cardinals, is it fair or unfair to say that the Cardinals cannot recover from this loss against Detroit?
I think it's unfair. If we've all learned anything about this season and just the NFL in general, is that it's any given Sunday. Any given Sunday, something's going to happen. A team's going to show up. They're going to show out. They're going to have more excitement. Something's going to get them going. And so you really can't say that this truly defines them, because it doesn't. Now, they have lost 2 straight. They lost to a division rival, and then they traveled to Detroit and lost. They lost 3 of their last 5 games, which includes the Panthers. 4 of their last 7 games, which includes the Packers after they started the season. Was that 7-0? Mm-hmm. Everything's starting to right size itself. That's all it is. We're leveling out. We're at the point now where the Cardinals are. They're not. How can I say this? They're not as dominant as we thought they were, but they're still a really good team. And I think they'll be fine long term. You got to remember also, they haven't had Hopkins for the most part a few weeks. They lost Kyler Murray for a few weeks. So one of these losses kind of included the non-Kyler Murray edition. So now as they're getting themselves back in rhythm, I don't think they need D-Hop. They may later in the playoffs, because he's going to be a weapon that they're going to need. But I think that they'll be able to calm it down over time.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that they can recover from this.
Oh, wow.
I think that, yes, they're going to go to the playoffs because they're already at 10 wins. They'll get another 1 or 2 victories. They got the Colts. They got the Cowboys.
It's going to be a tough one.
They got the Colts, Cowboys, and Seahawks. They might actually lose all 3 of those games.
That is a potential. They could lose 5 straight, which they did. I think that last season as well. They lost like 4 of like 6 or something silly.
So they can't recover from this because this defense that was one of the best defenses in football has given up 30 points 2 straight games, one of which obviously to the Lions, who no team should give up 20 points to Jared Goff for the Lions and no starting running backs, but they did. So you have that going against you. I think what it is, and I say this a lot, and this is in the NBA as well, when you have finesse teams, the way to beat a finesse team is you have to out-physical them. You can't out-finesse or out-creative Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
But teams are getting way more physical with him. And I was kind of worried about this game going into this for Arizona because this Lions team, even though their record sucks, they've been very physical with teams, and they've been in most of these games.
They've been competitive.
So this was a dangerous game. So now that the word is out that they're getting out physical, I think that's secondary to, yes, being without Nuk Hopkins. I think Kyler misses him more than you think. He doesn't look comfortable out there without Nuk being somewhere out there where he can depend on him. He still has good receivers, and you still have Zach Ertz, and you still have good running backs, especially getting Chase Edmonds back. But having that safety blanket out there, every quarterback needs that. Nuk was his. He's not going to have him at least for the rest of the regular season. But chief among the reasons, the number one reason why I think that they can recover from this, and I mention this sort of periodically after this happened, is not having J.J. Watt. He was the energy. He was the leader of that team and that defense. And he's still there physically, yes, but he's not on the field with them.
Which is a big deal.
I think that crushes him. I think that's the number one reason why, more so mentally, they're not going to be able to bounce back from this. Because losing to a team like Detroit and, in a sense, being the laughingstock of the league for that weekend, it's hard to shake that. It's hard to recover from that.
Yeah.
And they would need someone there like J.J. Watt on the field with them, their general, in order to bring them out of that, to really convince them that this is not who we are, and they don't have him. So for that reason, I don't think that they can recover from this, at least in the sense of we're talking about making a deep playoff run. I don't think that they can do this.
I think they'll be fine coming to the playoffs. The question is going to be, what does it look like the last 3 games? Last season they lost. They lost their last 2 games of the season, which was a little devastating. They lost to the 49ers and they lost to the Rams. And that may be some cause of concern because they do fall apart at the end of the year. I mean, they lost 5 of their last 7 games last year. That it was a problem. So as long as they don't fumble the bag, which honestly, this may be Cliff Kingsbury coaching for his job, because if they fumble the bag after starting the year as hot as they did and end up worse and not barely make the playoffs or not make it, could be a chance Cliff could be out the door, which wouldn't be smart, but at the same time, I would totally get it. But they're going to have a challenge with the Colts and the Cowboys traveling to Dallas, and then the Seahawks come to town. The Seahawks are actually playing a lot better than they have. They were the last time they met them and beat them 23-13. So we'll see how that goes.
Would you see from just lastly, would you say from a tactical standpoint that Kyler Murray, who rushed 4 times for 3 yards in this game, and I guess they figured out kind of like San Francisco did, even though San Francisco lost this game, they figured out a way to QB contain him. Do you think that if this is going to turn around, especially on offense, that they have to let him go more? I know he's on that ankle. We don't know what percentage
he's playing on, right?
Yeah, of health he's playing on. But do you think he's got to run the ball more?
He's been trying not to run the ball, if you've noticed. He usually scrambles to throw the ball again. And the question is his wide receiver is going to take time to pay attention and notice that they need to cut their route when he scrambles and get themselves open. Because he's rushed. I mean, this is a career low in yards this season on the ground because he's not running. He's not rushing the ball. He's not scrambling and picking up a lot of big yards this year like he did last year. So if anything, the Cardinals probably need to find a way to get him bootlegging him out the pocket a little bit more so that he can. He can make some things happen with his legs or get the receivers to move around where they can catch it. So technically, that makes sense. So.